Hello, welcome to Great Whale Investing. It is I, Alex, your host. Today I'm going to be talking about feelings, okay, and how to get over them. I mean, it's very difficult. It's going to depend on the person, but a lot of times when you're investing, it's very easy to get caught up in your emotions. And one of the things you're going to hear me preach a lot on this channel is to try and remove your emotions from investing. I'm not going to be talking about specifically on the reserve list or something today, but I want it to just be a broad topic in general. I think that people get caught up in feeling bad and they get caught up with their ego a lot. And it's hard for people to admit when they're wrong, just in general in life. And it's difficult for people to really come to terms with something that they didn't see that others saw. So a good example of this would be Bitcoin, for instance. I think Bitcoin is one of the most undervalued things in the world, possibly ever. I think Bitcoin is, it's something that I strongly believe in, so maybe I'm a little bit biased to it, but it certainly has the potential to change the world. And a lot of people are very stuck and stubborn, and they just don't want to hear it. They just don't want to talk about it. They don't want to have a conversation that involves them being wrong. And it's understandable because it's easy to write things off as a scam or to write things off or to be a naysayer. It's very, very difficult to have your mind changed, to have your eyes opened, to admit you're wrong. And it's very important when investing because as an investor, especially as somebody who does something in the long term, you have to be relatively certain on where you want to park your money. And every dollar you put into something has an opportunity cost. Every dollar you put into Bitcoin is a dollar you can't put into Gaia's Cradle, which is a dollar you can't put into gold, which is a dollar you can't put into the stock market or into real estate, or into your education. So when it comes to investing, it's very important to weigh the options and to have, in my opinion, I like to have conviction. A lot of times it's talked about to diversify your portfolio, and it is good in general to not put all your eggs in one basket. But one of the things that I feel is that people should diversify, yes, but they should put a lot more of their investments, time, effort, and money, whatever, into things that they have conviction about. If you don't have a conviction for something in particular, you should probably just, put your money into a bundle of stocks or a random house somewhere, It's not something you need to follow or pursue passionately. But when you find something that you want to pursue passionately, for me, that's Magic the Gathering and reserve list cards, and more recently, cryptocurrency. When you find something like that, I don't find it to be terrible to, overexpose yourself to it. Granted, you should always put investment money into something that you aren't afraid to lose. You shouldn't be afraid to lose the money. You can't be afraid. Fear is another emotion that people use. They're afraid that it'll go to zero, or they panic sell, or they don't understand what they should do in the long term. A lot of times people see, oh, they're reprinting these cards, so I should maybe, sell them or sell these boxes, or it'll affect the appreciating nature of my sealed product or my stock or my Bitcoin, whatever it is. It's a lot of noise, and it's a lot of things that come from people who are emotionally invested. And a lot of times that comes through in the magic community when they talk about, card prices going up. They look more at the emotional side of things. That means I can't play with Gaia's Cradle. That means I can't play with Volcanic Island. So it's bad, right? The reserve list is bad. Rudy from Alpha Investments is bad. And it's just a very small-minded approach. And trying to snap out of that is something that I'm going to try and teach on this channel. I want to try and help people earn money, to make money, to hold on to their money. I think a lot of people are very bad with their money, and a lot of people think that their financial situation is something they can't change. They weren't born rich, or they weren't born with privilege, or whatever it is, and they think that they use self-doubt, they use circumstances to put themselves down, to use excuses to, I can't afford Bitcoin because it's, at the time of this, $64,000, or I can't afford this. The boat is missed. I missed the easy money. Well, when it comes to Bitcoin, I think that there's a lot more room to grow, and I think we're still at the very early stages of its price. But let's look at maybe something like a reserve list card that spiked, like let's say Gaia's Cradle. Gaia's Cradles are pushing $1,000 a piece now, and do I think that that's the end? Is that the end of Gaia's Cradle? Do I really think Gaia's Cradle will never increase in price forever? No, I think it has plenty of room to grow. I think Gaia's Cradle will go be $2,000 before we know it. And many other cards too. Look at Black Lotus. Black Lotus has been soaring through the roof. I mean, Black Lotus is the top notch of Magic investing. It's the ultimate card to own. People who don't play Magic have heard of Black Lotus. So you have it so that a lot of the higher up you go on Magic cards, the more growth potential there is. And also the more complaining there is. The more a card is complained about, the more you should look at it, the more you should listen to it. The more buzz there is around Bitcoin, the more you should pay attention to it. I think that we're seeing a massive swing in how the world works, how finances work, and I think what you're going to have is people investing more into things that are detached from inflation and monetary expansion. So as more dollars are printed, and they're really being printed, I can hear the printer from here actually. As more money is being printed, people want to spend the money. They want to spend their money on things that will hold value, whether that's real estate, which has gone up, reserve list, which has gone up, cryptocurrencies, which are going up. Whatever it may be, people want to park that money where it's safest. And there's a lot of options. There's a lot of things you can do with it. It's sometimes overwhelming. You can be inundated by all these things, especially when it comes to cryptocurrencies. There's a lot of, suboptimal coins that are being, pawned off on people, preying on the emotion, the FOMO. My coin is the next one to go big, so you should invest in it because you don't want to be the fool that sat there on the sidelines as it went up 10, 20, 100 times in value, right? Emotion, fear, regret, guilt, doubt. All these are emotions, and you can't really use them when you're investing. You have to try and remove as much emotion as possible. You have to look at the charts, look at the numbers, look at the risk, look at the upside, the downside, the floors, the ceilings, all of that stuff. There's plenty of places where you can look up those type of statistics and numbers. But anytime you're looking at these things emotionally, place of anger, I'm pissed I didn't buy Volcanic Island when it was cheaper. It shouldn't be more. It shouldn't be more expensive. I'm pissed I didn't buy Bitcoin when it was $10,000 a coin or $5,000 a coin or 85 cents a coin. Or I'm pissed. So it shouldn't go higher. It shouldn't be worth more. It's a bad way to look at it. It's not the way that the world works. And if you continue to use it, you will be the one left in the dust. You'll always be bitter. You'll always be angry that you didn't do something to advance yourself, to earn more money, to see one step into the future, to look forward. You're the only person that suffers from it. Nobody else suffers from your angry tirade, and nobody else suffers because of your lack of foresight. Learn how to make smarter decisions, and each time you make smart decisions, you will slowly and slightly increase the quality of your life. A good quality life is generally, not always, but generally a series of good decisions. If you make good decision after good decision, you should ideally have a good life. If you make bad decision after bad decision, you'll probably find yourself slipping in the wrong direction. So if you want, the short of it, I think you should invest your money in old Magic cards. I think you should invest your money in Bitcoin. I think you should invest your money in real estate. I think there are still lots of opportunities to be had with these things. And a lot of times people are going to be dismissive at the door. They are going to feel bad because they missed out on the big money. They missed out on what others saw or what others took a risk or a gamble on. And just because you missed the boat or missed some of the boat, if that makes sense, doesn't mean that it's not too late to jump in. What are your thoughts? Is there something that you have a hard time getting over, that you regret? Is there something that you have your eyes fixated on? I really would love to know in the comments, and let me know. What do you feel about emotions and investing? All right.